from that Utah State trip last year in terms of travel? You know, what that's like, what you guys kind of expect this week?
It's a long trip. That's definitely one. It's a long trip, and we kind of have to try to go to sleep at the like East Coast time versus the West Coast time. But besides that, football's football, so nothing really.
Do you like that Kurt likes to keep very little time on those road games? Like he wants you there at the last second? Or would you rather have a little more time to acclimate?
I've never experienced anything different, so I couldn't really tell you. But hey, it is what it is.
How much excited are you guys about this opportunity, playing UCLA starting the Big Ten?
Oh, very excited. I think this is a game where we kind of go out there and prove to everybody that this is real. So I feel like we, had 2 warm-up games, and people still might be a little bit skeptical. And I think going in here, doing what we need to do against UCLA can start this change that we're looking for.
Does it bother you at all that people are kind of been like, okay, well, 2-0, but they've beaten 2 teams that they should beat? Does that enter your mind at all in terms of wanting to prove anything?
Not at all. That's kind of just clutter. I just think, based off what this team did last year, I understand it. We just got to go out there and prove it to them on Saturday. That's it.
Coach Zignetti kind of talked about the mindset of just it's any other game out there in Pasadena in the Rose Bowl. How have you seen the team buy into that?
Oh yeah, we're definitely buying into that. The whole we're going to be an LA thing, UCLA thing, playing the Rose Bowl. It is cool. It is a great experience. But at the end of the day, football's football. And once the pads is on, once the ball is kicked, it's football. It doesn't matter what stadium we're in.
Do you guys allow yourself any moment prior to kickoff to soak it in, or is it just once you get to the stadium, it's game time?
It's game time.
Is it easier to? I'm sorry. Is it easier to have that mentality as a player than because fans think like that? They're like, oh, cool, it's going to the Rose Bowl. Is it easier than it would seem to fans to kind of block all that out?
Yeah, I think it's a lot easier. Depending on the person, but I think for the most part, again, football is football. And as long as you keep that your priority, then you'll be able to switch your mindset to that.
I want to say that Marcus mentioned that this summer there's like you, him, Linnell, a few others were just kind of hanging out here, and they kind of would provide you with a few things, and you'd provide them with a few things. But what's kind of the value in that for you?
Especially me not being in this conference, them giving me, the scouting reports on what type of O-lineman I'll be facing this year. Probably be a little bit more physical, more run heavy. That kind of aided into what drills, what techniques I needed to work on over the summer. And then my drills and techniques, I was able to provide to them for them to get better.
From an off-field relationship standpoint, how important was it?
Very important, especially me coming in as a transfer and kind of trying to build that chemistry, especially as a D lineman. Once the D line has chemistry, we play so fast. So that was kind of a jump start to that. And these first 2 games, we're still working the chemistry. And I know eventually it's really going to click and this thing's going to roll.
When you say play fast, is that more like a stunt, or how does that kind of show up?
Yeah, kind of like stunts. Maybe Marcus might get up the field real fast and I see it and I'll just wrap it, or I just know based off this look, this set, have an idea what type of move he's going to hit, and I can base my moves based off of that.
A lot has been spoken about the James Madison guys coming in, kind of instituting that institutional knowledge. You guys have Coach Zignetti. From your teammates that are playing under him for the first time, how much do you think they've caught up to where you kind of need them to be, and how much does that now kind of feel like it's one team instead of 13 guys trying to show the other guys how to do it?
At this point, it feels like one team for sure. I think everyone's bought into it. All the guys that are playing, they've all bought into it. I think even from the jump, I know a lot of the guys that didn't want to be a part of this change all transferred or did whatever they needed to do. And all the guys that stayed was kind of committed to changing this program. So I think by now we have this team set. I know there's going to be a lot of bumps in the road, just like any team, any season. But eventually, it's going to be completely one team. But right now, I feel we're all together.
You've rotated a lot on the inside, more so than last year. And did you kind of know that was coming?
On the inside, meaning?
Like inside tackle, like a tackle kind of spot?
No, I was about the same as last year.
Yeah.
When we kind of go in our 3-4 looks, I'll play that 3 tech position, and then I'll also play 5, or I'll play that stud position. I play kind of all 3 positions, but it's about the same as last year.
Do you like that kind of rotation, and what's the kind of key to making that successful to work at those other spots?
I like it because it gives me different matchups. So now I'm going as a guard. Maybe it's pass rush. I get to go playing space against a guy that's not used to being in space, or even going inside and I'm closer to the ball. So now when I make one move, I'm right there at the ball. Versus you make a move on the edge, you still have that that ground to gain. And then playing stud and playing end, they're a little bit different in terms of technique and mentality going into those positions. So it gives me an opportunity to kind of manipulate tackles a little bit differently, just based off of position, not even based off skill or anything like that.
Do you know kind of going in how many snaps you're going to get, or is it kind of based on feel for Haynes calls the game and then that's kind of how things develop?
It'll be based off the way Haynes calls the game, depending on who's tired, who's not, personnel, things like that.
Outside of the venue, how excited are you to play in your first conference power level?
I'm
Power
really
four game?
excited. This is a really big opportunity for me, especially being a Sun Belt guy. First off, an FCS guy, then Sun Belt. I just want to, not even just me. I think everyone wants to kind of prove that we're supposed to be here. That's me speaking for all the other JMU guys, and even the guys that's transferred here from ODU or whatever other schools they transferred from. I think this is a big game. It's gonna be on TV. It's a big opportunity.
What do you see on film from them? Their offense.
I see that they run a pro style type of offense. So for the most part, each formation has their plays. So schematically, they're not too difficult. But as far as the guys that they have in there, they got a fast running back, a smart quarterback, some fast guys on the outside, some big O linemen. Those guys can kind of make it work. But I'm confident in my guys winning one-on-ones, and I'm confident in Haynes calling the right calls, out-coaching their offensive coordinator. So honestly, they're kind of like a faceless team. I'm not really worried about what they're doing. I'm more worried about preparing throughout the week.
Did they have you watching NFL stuff with the enemy, or did you guys mostly? Yeah.
We actually have. We have watched some of the Commanders film in their cut-ups since UCLA only played their game against Hawaii.
Right.
We don't have as much film, so we watched the Hawaii game and then some cut-ups of the Commanders.
One more.
Coming off the 77-3 win, that's a very historic win, especially offense, most points scored, most yards, but also defense, playing great, only allowing those 3 points. What do you think it says about this group that in just a second game you did something so historic?
I don't want to downplay that, because that is historic and it's something that is great that we did. But at the end of the day, that opponent wasn't the best opponent, so it's we have to kind of wipe that out now and focus on UCLA. Again, I think it's more for the fans and they get to see something, but us as players, that's kind of poison a little bit in the sense that we're was feeding off that high and we need to lock back in going against our first Big Ten opponent.
Great. Thanks for coming.